Free cam. And play. And close.
Dire team ban.
Hello everybody, Briefcase here with another couple games from the Premier League, still playing catch up. This time we got Team Fnatic versus no Tidehunter. Actually, I haven't seen no Tidehunter play in quite a while. Sorry everybody, I've drank a couple beers, but no drunk Dota, it's not that sort of stuff, just doing a normal cast. Just a couple beers deep, it's fine, just fine. Team Fnatic. I'm going to call him Fnatic now because Fnatic, I'm sure, is not how you say it, one, and two, is awful to say, it's hard, and it's more difficult. Oh my word. Not doing it again.
Seconds remaining.
But then they have banned Darkseer, no Tidehunter's banned Wisp, very normal bans, Fnatic, Team Fnatic banning Darkseer. Usually you see not so much Darkseer nowadays. He's kind of seems to be almost second tier, if you will, to Nyx as such, to Keeper of the Light. He kind of does what Keeper of the Light does, but a little bit worse in most respects. Of course, he has his vacuum to high ground ability, which is just so awful in some ways, but nonetheless, Darkseer being banned by Fnatic. No Tidehunter doesn't seem to know who they're exactly gonna ban. Not the biggest thing in the world. And for anybody who's been paying attention, my last 10 videos, I think, that were at 720p max, these ones are at 1080p. Not to mention, there might be ever so slightly more background noise. I've switched from using Bandicam, which, you know, gave me smaller files than Fraps at the very least. With Fraps, I ended up with video files that were 200 gigabytes big. With Bandicam, I ended up with video files that were 20 gigabytes big, whilst only being 720p. And now I'm using OBS, which I highly suggest. I'll probably link it in the description because it's really terrific. I can cast and I can record at 1080p no less, and I can come up with a file that's literally half as big as a Bandicam file would be after I've encoded it and gone so far as to try to minimize it as much as possible. So with that, I don't have to edit. I can just edit on YouTube and give it a nice in and out point. But either way, the final result is a little bit more noise in the background. Pretty much whatever my mic picks up, which thankfully enough is not too much. I don't have as much control over everything, but overall, I don't have to encode things. My computer doesn't have to be held up for an extra hour for every cast I do. And overall, much less space is taken, and it's overall just so much nicer to not have to worry about all that. And because of it, hopefully I'll be able to do about a match a night. And by match, I don't mean a game, I mean a match. 2 to 3 games, every single time. Oh, there it is. Lone Druid showing up. Getting picked by no Tidehunter. Bat Rider as well. Maybe I should start talking about the game a little bit. Fnatic picking up Keeper of the Light. Really, really strong. Completely good. Like, completely... No, very, very good at countering pushing. Has a lot of utility. Is kind of the new metagame right now. Incredibly, incredibly good. He hasn't been buffed recently. He's just a very, very good hero.
10 seconds remaining.
Very, very good at being in lane, of course, as well. Can do some secret little pony shows where they throws horses through the forest and can really catch people off guard. Not to mention, he's a support who doesn't need to get farm given to him. He can just farm lanes as much as he wants as well. No Tidehunter picking up Bat Rider as well as Lone Druid. Bat Rider, of course, amazingly good at utility, really good at ganking, picking people out, can fill almost any role. He's great in lane. He can jungle if he needs to. He can be mid. He can trade with people. He's just incredible at what he needs to be doing. Lone Druid, of course, incredibly strong in a lane. I've seen some people use him, not in the pro scene usually, but I've seen some people use him as a jungler. And whilst, of course, his bear is very good at tanking up damage and all that sort of stuff, he really shines in lane where he can last hit with himself and his bear. Really hard to gank him. He's a very good carry that lasts quite a long time as well. And something that I think the first comment on my entire YouTube channel has mentioned is that I think I said somewhere that Lone Druid can just resummon his bear as it's getting hit. Supposedly you can't do that. And I'm not 100% sure because I know in the past, oh, my bear's getting hurt, I can resummon him and it's not really an issue, but I know that you can't blink him back when he's getting hurt. But the not being able to resummon him thing is new to me. So there you have it. Thank you so much to, I can't remember your name, I'll mention it in the comments though. And there you have it. I brought it up, I said I would. Thank you ever so much. Fnatic picking up Gyrocopter as well as Shadow Demon. I didn't talk about either of those yet. Shadow Demon, of course, incredibly good at being a utility hero. Can set up ganks like no one else. Disruption, which is a 2.5 second lock, if you will. Not to mention the illusions show up. And his ability to catch, his ability to cast Soul Catcher as well, which can be on one person just a huge amount more of extra damage, up to 50% at level 4. Can really make a harder gank with somebody who has evasion abilities or a way to get away, anti-mage if you will, or void with time walk, can make you do front load so much damage that he actually can't get away from it. Not to mention that disruption can be used defensively as well. If you're getting ganked, you can get 2.5 seconds of additional time for your allies to show up, or you can save your carry while you kind of draw fire and get people away. Fnatic getting Gyrocopter, like I've said a million times, kind of the new meta. Everybody's picking him up now. They realize that Flat Cannon late game is almost like a 1,000 range cleave in a way. Of course, it's only for 6 attacks, but if you are going that late game and Gyrocopter's been able to get an adequate amount of farm like most people give him, it won't matter. It's, you know, gonna be 6 attacks, probably what, 250 damage each attack, roughly 1,500 against the entire team. Less armor, of course, but when it comes right down to it, Gyrocopter just has an immense amount of team fight ability and team damage ability in a 5-on-5 scenario. And that's one of the reasons that you see Zeus being picked up very rarely, but still being picked up on occasion, is because of his passive, which gives the static shock across, I can't remember the distance right now, but across the huge area. If you equate that to late game, it's actually big enough where he gets off 4 skills and everybody's down, what, 10, 19, 20, 30% health. It does 30% to everybody if he just gets off 4 skills. So can be incredibly strong. One of the better late game nukers as far as everything goes. But back to bans, kind of been ignoring the game just a little bit. Fnatic banning, you got Magnus banned, you got Void, Luna banned, all very incredibly strong alts, good at team fights as well. Void, probably don't want to let them get, Fnatic probably don't want to let no Tidehunter get another very strong carry. Also, I don't think I mentioned how No Tidehunter got Chen. And Cray, of course, can be incredibly strong if microed effectively and used well. I am
10
not so good
seconds
at him.
remaining.
I avoid him at all costs. I can't use Necronomicon to save my
5
life. Not right
seconds
now, anyway.
remaining.
But when it comes right down to it, I can't so
Dire
much.
team
Both
pick.
teams... Seems like No Tidehunter probably banning more so mobile heroes. You have Prophet banned, Wisp banned, Puck is banned, incredibly mobile hero. Not to mention very good at team fights, but No Tidehunter really limiting the mobility of the other team, while Fnatic banning any sort of big ults or team fights. Banning Darkseer, hate that vacuum. Nyx is just overall
10
very,
seconds
very
remaining.
strong right now. People realize it, and he's such a good utility hero. Can play mid, can suit almost any role. Can't really jungle effectively, but incredible in lane. Can be a support Nyx, can be a ganking Nyx. Can't really carry, but you know what I mean. Magnus, of course, having that huge reverse polarity as well. Banning that, not wanting to deal with that. Very similar to Vacuum in that respect. Chrono being banned. Don't want any of that funny business. Kind of don't want heroes. It seems like maybe they were setting this up. Don't want
10
heroes or alts
seconds
that can really
remaining.
affect Phantom Lancers' illusions and can really ruin them.
5 seconds.
Of course,
remaining.
Vacuum will be an issue there. Reverse polarity is a huge issue. Lunas with the glaives. They're really getting rid of a whole lot of bouncing as well as cleave at the moment. And understandably, I mean, if you have Phantom Lancer,
10
you really don't
seconds
want a
remaining.
lot of things that can hurt your illusions. No Tidehunter banning,
5
like I
seconds
mentioned earlier,
remaining.
a lot of mobile heroes. Wisp is very mobile, Prophet is very mobile, Puck, of course. Earthshaker and Lifestealer, not so much. And actually don't see Earthshaker banned too often. Very, very good hero, of course. Massive ult. Very good against Phantom Lancer's illusions, no less, with the various echoes that'll come from it. But Lifestealer being picked a lot and banned a lot recently in
10
the
seconds
pro
remaining.
scene. I think people have finally realized that his rages can be so
5
strong. It's like a
seconds
BKB,
remaining.
and it's very one of the strongest items. You combine it with a BKB, and he's nigh killable.
Radiant team.
Fnatic picking up Alchemist, an incredibly strong carry if he gets the farm with Goblin's Greed, and the game goes incredibly late. Fnatic, of course, has Keeper of the Light, can stall until late game, has amazing counter push potential. Shadow Demon very good at ganking as well, but their entire lineup, Alchemist. I mean, I suppose you could go support Alch or
10
Shadowblade
seconds
gank Alch,
remaining.
but when it comes right down to it, Alchemist, Phantom Lancer, Gyrocopter, all incredibly strong late game heroes. They're probably going to want to push this one into the 40-50 minute range just to get the full potential of their heroes. Of course, no Tidehunter. Lone Druid, also very good late game, but his bear can be very troublesome. Anywhere from early mid to onwards. Just as long as he gets the farm he needs, that bear can be awful for everyone involved. Chen, of course, all good at most times. Kind of wanes near the end there, but it's not the end of the world if and when that does happen. Shadow Shaman, incredibly good at disabling and all that. Phantom Assassin, I suspect they'll go Battle Fury with it because Phantom PA, of course, very good at going late game. Really shines in late game. Hits level 16, and then those
10
crits are just
seconds remaining.
astounding as well. Bat Rider good all the time,
5
but
seconds remaining.
PA is probably going to be, as far as I know, or if I could think of it, their counter to Phantom Lancer. Give PA a Battle Fury, one big crit, and all of those illusions will fall. We got some spectators talking. RG and Tony, no problem at all. Okay, so we have, let's see. Thank you, game paused, I guess. Let's go over who is who. We have Fnatic No Tail as Keeper of the Light, Trixie as Phantom Lancer, Era is playing Alchemist, Han1, I'm just going to call him Han probably, as Gyrocopter, and Stand-In N. Looks like we don't have a full roster. I wasn't paying too close attention, but Stand-In N, oh man, it's going to be rough. I'm going to want to keep calling him Stand-In all game long. I'll just call him N. N, okay. N is Shadow Demon. All the while, we got No Tidehunter. Admiral Bulldog is playing Lone Druid. One of my favorite names in any pro scene, Admiral Bulldog. Also, I've seen him do some amazing plays. No Tidehunter, follow EGM, is Shadow Shaman at the moment. Looks like he's got a hat on. He's got the Sacket, I think it's called, and that's, you know, looking pretty good. No Tidehunter, live and let Loda. Oh my, live and let Loda. There it is, not live. Geez, that's a long name. Hopefully, we're just gonna call him Live. We also got at S4 Dota. Just gonna call him S4, I think. And then we also have Follow Aki. Probably, I'm just gonna call him Follow, or no, I'm probably just gonna call him Aki, but we'll see what my brain spits out. Both teams going into the Radiant Juggle. Looks like they might be doing a little level 1 clash, really. No Tail really getting all the wards his team would ever need. Both of them running in. Let's see if they have a smoke. They don't. They're just going in to see if they can't fetch a first blood. Seeing if No Tidehunter can be caught out a little bit. Batrider is running in. Doesn't have anything skilled up yet. But normally he'll get Firefly just so he can run away, just in case. Chen, of course, does have a smoke of deceit. They might be able to use it and capitalize and fall on them. But overall, when it comes right down to it, who's going to win this thing? Stand-in does have disruption, can really set up a lot of things, but
30 seconds
I don't know. It's hard to say. Without, this bear does not have roots yet. I think No Tidehunter realizing they have a worse team fight early on, or at the very least at level 1. Of course, Trixie, Gyrocopter, Rocket Barrage, 300 damage at level 1. That's half somebody's health instantly. Of course, there's the magic resistance, but when it comes right down to it, it's half of someone's health at level 1, and that can just be devastating. Not to mention, if he goes homing missile, it's a 2-second stun as well. Can be the difference. Bear here, getting the regeneration rune, that doesn't actually affect him, does it? It just says that he's activated it, which I'm pretty sure is the same message you get when you have when you activate it yourself. Bear running around all crazy, like looking like if you can pull this first creep wave. Gyrocopter can't do anything about it. Not exactly sure why he wants to pull it. Looks like he wants to get some early push on this tower, get a little bit of damage on it, or at the very least keep Trixie low, not let him farm super effectively. Although it looks like Trixie has it down exactly what exactly the way to get each and every single one of these. How many shots he needs in case it does get pulled. Of course, gets every single one of that lane. Maybe, looks like Admiral Bulldog just wanting to keep the creep line incredibly as close to his tower as possible. Doesn't want to get ganked at all. We have S4 Dota mid, 7 stacks on Phantom Lancer, and doesn't have any form of Doppelwalk. A single shot from, Flame Break hitting him. Now he looks like he's running in, wanting to trade, see if he can't get him. One more shot, could have dove for it, but Phantom Lancer did not have enough for Spear. Probably could have gotten the first blood there if he had really wanted it. Trixie pulling is that a rune camp? No. Yeah, oh it is. Pulling the top rune camp, getting 3 of the 4 creeps. He's going to be able to make that creep line go a little bit more in his favor. Admiral Bulldog not wanting to have any of it. Trixie hitting the bear as much as he can, going down to 300 health. Doesn't matter though. Admiral Bulldog, it's on cooldown. Supposedly you can't summon it when it's getting hurt, but we will see. Picking up an Orb of Venom as well as a Stout Shield. Han1 heading in, seeing if he can pick up what any farm he can. But let's look at this tri-lane bot, shall we? Have got no Tidehunter. We have Phantom Assassin being a little bit low. All the while, Chen has picked up a Furbog, has Thunderclap, but that's only slow. It's not a stun. He probably would like a Centaur, at the very least an Ensnare. Fnatic has Unstable Concoction, Disruption, and ooh, the Disruption plus Illuminate combo. Very strong early game. Can disrupt and then charge up an Illuminate for at least 2 seconds. That's 200 damage, of course. Of course, magical resistance factors into it and all that. But when it comes right down to it, looks like Batrider has gone top and ganked the hell out of Gyrocopter, really trying to make that carry not have a nice time. Looks like the Spirit Bearer might return home, pick up some items, being his courier for Admiral Bulldog. Looks like that's what's going to happen. And by the time he gets back, he'll probably have leveled him up, so he has the blink. Oh, it looks like he already does have blink. Or I should say return. Trixie going flat cannon and rocket barrage. Not a single level in homing missile. Usually you see 1-1-1 across the board. Maybe go high up into rocket barrage for that mid to early huge amount of damage. At level 4, it's 600 roughly. Of course, Trixie though getting tranquils. Even though they've been nerfed recently, it doesn't matter. I don't think that was in the game yet. No, it absolutely wasn't. Getting tranks, incredibly strong boots on any hero. Trixie though getting caught out. Looks like he's getting balked by this bear. Bear, of course, already level 5, and picking him up. Already has entangling claws. Didn't look like he got a single one of them though. And returning back to Admiral Bulldog, and No Tidehunter jumps out for an early lead. Batrider running bot, seeing if he can't get the rune before anybody else, but in comes No Tail, picking it up just to make sure that S4 Dota doesn't get it. He's gonna have to look for bottle charges elsewhere. All the while, Fnatic is doing fine. Looks like Alchemist is not going it's called Greevil's Greed. I thought it was Goblin's Greed. Goblin Greed's it used to be at the very least in Dota 1. Fnatic does not look like he's going pure carry Alchemist, probably trying to give all their farm to Trixie as much as possible, and of course PL, one of the strongest carries in the entire game. And looking to see if he can't get a disruption on anybody, maybe follow, but of course with this Hex it will be very difficult to catch him out. The instant cast of that is just so hard to counter. Phantom Assassin, we got Live and Let Loda, I want to say Dota. We got Live and Let, I'm just gonna call him Live, okay. We got Live looking for any last hit he can possibly get. Of course, Era is farming, you know, pretty effectively all the while. Gyro is pulling top all on his own, has flat cannon, has rocket barrage, not getting homing missile oddly enough. Here comes the bear though. Not in range, I think, to actually attack, just scouting, seeing what's up. All the while, Admiral Bulldog in full control, also getting Tranquil Boots. This is before the nerf, when Tranquil Boots was so strong on pretty much any carry. Would not be surprised if PL was not also going Tranquil Boots. Geez, would not be surprised if PL was also not going. No, that he is. PL might also be going Tranquil Boots. Hard to say. All the while, Alchemist bot doing fine. And it looks like, yes, No Tidehunter is in control of their own jungle. Wards aplenty, making sure no funny business is going. Doesn't look like they can pull so very effectively, especially like this ward. They have counter warded with these two sentries, but a little bit difficult to see. I think that's just within this sentry's range, just out of this sentry's range, but all the while, that's a hard spot to look for and think about. Bat looking if he's looking to get that rune again. All the while, Chen is there, picking it up just so Keeper of the Light won't get it. Not as if Keeper of the Light has vision or anything like that. There's that disruption combo again, hitting Live and Leloda. Follow EGM possibly, could have been him, but all the while, doesn't really matter. There are those Tranquil Boots on Phantom Assassin. This is specifically why, actually, pretty much why I think Ice Frog nerfed them, is because pretty much any carry could pick them up, and it gives them an obscene amount. Stand, okay, and going to fall, can't get away. No Tidehunter capitalizing on a little bit of mispositioning by Team Fnatic down there. Probably overextending just a smidge without any vision in the jungle, no less. No Tidehunter has made that perfectly clear. Chen, of course, Aki doing very good at counter warding and making sure that they know where everything is the entire time. Admiral Bulldog hanging out. Where is your bear, Admiral Bulldog? Is it? It is. It's home. It's picking up whatever it can. Shiny Greevil, Roshan, Courier. Everything's nice. All the while, Alk is here. I don't know if Admiral Bulldog sees it. There's absolutely nothing. Unstable Concoction. Admiral Bulldog's running away, though. Won't be able to evade. And in comes Trixie. Flat cannoning as much. Big reverse, or Unstable Concoction. Admiral Bulldog trying to get Trixie before everything falls, but he can't quite do the DPS needed to get him down. The bear looked like he was auto-attacking. Maybe a little bit more, attention to detail there could have brought Trixie down, but when it comes right down to it, it seems like Admiral Bulldog just didn't know that Team Fnatic was there to counter him. No Tail being caught out a little bit. Live and let Loda. Dagger is on 1 second. Gonna be able to kill him. Doesn't have any way. Is that pure damage? It is. I had no idea. I thought maybe it was physical at the very least. But pure damage. 200 now at level 4. Kind of scary in a lot of ways. The cooldown on that is pretty small. 8 seconds. Some delicious water. I don't know if anybody's been to Victoria, BC, where I hail from, but our water is just delicious. Not to say that I've been to anywhere else, really, and tasted any other water, but we have good water, pretty damn sure. Mid, some fun going on mid. Looking like Disruption went down on some people, although at the last second, you think he'd get away. You'd think N would get away, but no. Shadow gets him. Follow EGM gets him with the Ether Shock. Ooh, I think it's changed. It used to be called, no, was it? Fork Lightning, I believe. No Tail has a charging up Illuminate. Looks really a lot like it's gonna hit S4 Dota, who also has, I don't know if it actually shows up as a debuff, but because of this little rune here, I think he has Soul Catcher on him, and this might be the end of him. It is a level 2, doesn't do enough. 224. No Tail can't get him in time. Doesn't have Mana Leak to stun him. If he even would, he's got a ton of mana. I don't think it'd be enough. But hard to say. Anyways, but like I was saying, the recent Tranquil Boots nerf that happened, I think it was 4 or 5 days ago or something like that. 6.7 is happening because almost every carry that you would think of, you have Gyrocopter here with it. Era isn't getting it, but PL, I'd be amazed if he wasn't getting it as well. PA is getting it. Pretty much any carry was getting Tranquil Boots because it gives you such an immense amount of staying power in lane, which is of course what carries really need so that they can farm effectively and kind of shirk off being harassed. But I think what it did was it gave too much ability, or I think what Ice Frog, figured it did was it was giving carries too much ability to shirk off being harassed, and it made it kind of possibly too easy for them. Because if you look at it, it's 250 HP over, over 20 seconds, which is what, 10 HP a second, roughly. Let's say 11, just for ease's sake. When actually I think it's 12.5. 12.5 HP a second regen every single second that you're using it. All the while, the cooldown on it is 60, so you got 250, you might as well say 250 extra regen every 60 seconds. You combine that with the 180, and it just gave you so much regen and such a easier ability to stay in lane and kind of just completely and utterly shirk off any amount of harass that I think that's why it was nerfed recently. Of course, a sad day for Crystal Maiden, who used to get those boots quite a bit and just was kind of a casualty in the way, sadly. Admiral Bulldog, of course, farming effectively. No Tail being caught out. No, wait, no, that's not Toe Tail. But we have S4 Dota trying to get Trixie. Getting stunned, though, by Era. Isn't going to be enough. Fire flying away. In comes the bear, being annoying. Entangling roots on Era isn't going to fall, though. Natail is here. If and when he ever needs it, can always ult and get somebody else in. Maybe even a Shadow Shaman, you would think so. But the bear running in can always be resummoned. Is pretty much almost always off cooldown. The bat is here. Uses ult. Doesn't have much to do, but always is level 10 already. Not too surprising. EGM getting hit out a little bit by Trixie. All the while, everybody running in underneath the tower. Big tower dive. Era running away. Seeing if he can't get him in, and maybe just keep him around for the tower a little bit more. Bear running around. S4 Dota can always firefly away if he's very stuck. In comes Trixie. Seeing if he can't pick it up. Does not have his stun, though. Not like it would get him in time. Of course, No Tail. Doesn't look like he had Blinding Light in time to actually push him away and stop it. All the while, Admiral Bulldog looking for that ensnare, gets it, and it looks like Trixie will fall to Admiral Bulldog, despite the late blinding light, trying to stop that bear from doing so much damage. EGM, follow EGM. Coming in, standing, and getting the disruption off, but in comes Admiral Bulldog. Everyone is terrified of this bear. There it is. Ultimate thing. Doesn't matter, though. Falls instantly. And with that, Admiral Bulldog, Lone Druid will fall. Everybody porting in. Hand 1 is there to clean up as well. Trying to just gonna get the money for all these wards. It's worth a creep each, at least 36, I think. All the while, Chen and Live and Let Loda hanging out bot, pushing as much as they want. Of course, these Chen creeps are going to provide so much tanking ability to this tower if and when they ever need it. Trixie coming in, still doesn't have homing missile, completely foregoing that option. Getting ult, of course, very strong. Rocket Barrage fully, and Flat Cannon as well. Not sure exactly how I feel about this. Of course, who am I to say, oh, what is this professional player doing? And all that. But Flat Cannon really shines late game, and at least one level in homing missile, especially with the amount of mana that he has right now. Of course, going drums and the added extra mana that the Bracer plus Robe of the Magi give him. You'd think he'd want, you know, at least one more way to spend it. And homing missile, of course, level 1. It's not the damage that you care about whatsoever. It's all about the stun. And a 2-second stun is absolutely nothing to scoff at, especially something that actually runs in and seeks people out. The bear, though, has Orb of Venom, Gloves of Haste, Helm of Iron Will. All the while, Lone Druid, being the sideline Lone Druid, cheering on his bear whenever he wants. Admiral Bulldog seems like he has very good control over what's going on here. And let's see how the gold difference is going. Huge gold discrepancy for the Radiant. Up by 7, roughly, I'm just going to say 8,000. 8,000 extra gold right now. Very scary for, so no Tidehunter. Very ahead right now as far as gold is concerned. Experience-wise, it's the same. That's probably where Lone Druid took a hit and everybody was around. But Fnatic not doing nearly as well against no Tidehunter. And let's look at, not gold per minute, but let's look at net worth just for everybody. Everybody converging on Admiral Bulldog, seeing if they can't pick him off now. In runs hand 1, there's the stun. Admiral Bulldog sees it coming, converts to giant form just to see if he can't tank it out. Gets healed by Chen, but it's not enough. In ports Live and Let Loda. Everyone porting in. S4 now, ulting Trixie. Doesn't quite get away, so close. All in comes in, follow EGM, just stunning him a little bit second. Has wards, can use it whenever he wants. There is no stun to stop that shackle. All the while, though, and using disruption on himself just to stall a little bit isn't enough, though. And when it comes right down to it, no Tidehunter comes on top. Of course, the Lone Druid took a hit, and he is a terrific carry, but so is Gyrocopters. Era is there, trying to cast it. Live and Let Loda, being caught out. Gets hit by the stun, big, at least 2 seconds, I think, right now. I would say that'd be 2 seconds. And now wards going down, wants to hang around those wards. His entire creep wave is here, doesn't matter. And now No Tail ports back, everybody porting top. Admiral Bulldog is back in the game. In comes, there he is, has Armlet of Mortigan on the Spirit Bear. It doesn't even look like the HP loss, 40 HP per second, even affects the bear. I think this happened pretty recently in another game I cast. It was at least one of them, and I didn't realize this, but it looks like Armlet of Mortigan doesn't even affect them. Of course, the strength is useless, but it's a very good item on Lone Druid. All he has to do is, near the late game, give it to his own hero, the main hero, and it's a terrific item there as well. The strength will affect it, and everything will be fine. Of course, the HP does not seem to be affecting him. Not 100% sure why, but there's the HP regen, doesn't even matter. It's just constantly active, gives him the attack speed he needs, the damage as well, doesn't even matter. Big ult falling down. Trixie is there, really trying to ult everybody. How does he already did that? There it is. It was Hex by EGM? EGM, there it is. Hex by EGM. Trixie being caught up. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to get away. All the while, oh, No Tail calling it the earliest of good games, and only 17 minutes in, quitting it. This has been the fastest game I have seen to date in any of my casts in any pro scene, and it looks like, well, I might as well look at the net worth. The entirety, how is this possible? The entirety of No Tidehunter just rocketing, absolutely rocketing ahead of Team Fnatic. Of course, all of them quitting. We'll wait just until the throne or Radiant's Agent explodes, because really that's what we were here for. But here's hoping, absolutely hoping, that this cast actually recorded, because using OBS, it has been amazing recently. Lets me save a million minutes of time, but it has had issues with stopping weirdly or abruptly near the end, so we will see. Thanks for watching, everybody. It's been Briefcase again, and I'm gonna bring you the rest of the Premier League, so stay tuned.